11th studio album. And is this 30 years this year?
It will be in the summer. Yeah, yeah. Mental.
Congratulations on still being at it. I wonder when you arrived into the studio, how much of this was already fully formed and ready to go, or how much kind of emerged in Blantyre? How much is this a Blantyre record?
Um, I'd say I'd say it's a Glasgow record. I'd say we got most of it done before we went in. There was still kind of some parts and some sounds and everything that we kind of worked on when they were there, but the demos were in pretty decent shape and we'd been rehearsing. So yeah, I'd say it's got a G postcode, not an ML.
And do you come in and you've got a clear idea of what the running order is going to be in terms of like the
No,
album, or
no.
like what? How does that
We
all
actually
work then?
we actually almost always record quite a lot more than we need.
Yeah.
So we've actually got like another half an album that we've probably got to try and work out what we're going to do. I think because it's not like it, some of the stuff turned out bad. It's just that it didn't maybe fit together or didn't kind of go with the whole mood of how everything else was sitting. So no, that's the run-on order. I'd say the order of how things get done is running order, artwork, song titles, mastering. So that's it. That's that's the last kind of sprint at the end of the race.
Um, I'd read that you said that Fanzine Made of Flesh that started off when you were kind of you were in Brooklyn. Do you find that like where you are geographically, whether on tour or whether kind of leaks into the music? Are you kind of influenced by your surroundings and what you're doing at the time, what you're watching on telly, what you're listening to?
I think everything does to an extent, though. I would imagine probably with that, it was more like, oh shit, why am I on holiday when I should be writing songs? Or there's a guitar line. There's a guitar line about. Maybe I can. Maybe I can sort of assuage my guilt by, um, yeah, coming up with something.
Is there a thread that runs through this record in terms of the themes you've been thinking about, or what kind of brings it all together, or where the band is in 2025?
Um, well, it was a hard record to make because for a few reasons. It was a hard record because Barry hadn't really been with the band. Barry had went through a really terrible time. His little girl was really sick. She was in hospital for most of a year. So just all of us getting together was a bit of a struggle. So I think uh, I can't speak for everyone else, but from my point of view, it felt like a kind of I don't know a bit of a release, just all being together and making music. So I think it's kind of to my mind got quite a kind of cathartic energy to it. Um, and I think there's definitely kind of themes in the music that tie it together of things I was trying and things that the others were trying too. I think.
I mean, most bands when they're not on tour or they're not recording in the studio, they don't live in each other's pockets. They might see each other a fair bit, but like there's that kind of sense that you're kind of away and you're doing your own thing.
Oh,
When you get back together, is there a moment when you're kind of in the studio and you really think, right, that's us back, that's us ready to go, let's get recording?
um, I mean, there was with this one just because we hadn't been together. We went to Australia without Barry, which is the first gigs we've done without him since he joined the band. So, so when we got together, it did feel kind of like that. I would say it probably doesn't normally because we're always doing something.
Yeah.
We're always doing a soundtrack or on tour or something. So I can't really think of a time apart from actually the pandemic when we didn't see each other on a fairly regular basis.
See, like with the success of the last album, and then like the gigs that you played, and the new audiences it brought to both the existing material and like going back through the back catalogue and things. Um, it's been quite an exciting 4 years for the band,
Yeah.
like I mean, and to reach 30 years and feel like you're kind of starting out on something rather than just going through the motions, and you're not a legacy band, you know, like you're out there creating new music and new things and bringing new people to the band. Does that feel good?
It feels great. It feels really good. Quite a few people have asked about if the last record doing so well brought pressure, but I actually kind of think it released pressure because it kind of made me think, well, we've got like a lot of support. People got really excited about our last album, then it kind of made me not worry so much about how this one would do. As times went on, I've started worrying anyway, but I think that's just my general nature. But I think yeah, I think it definitely it gave us a bit of a boost.
What would you consider the maximum amount of words that should be in a song title?
I lost you for a second there, Paul. Can you
What
repeat that? Sorry.
what do you think is the maximum amount of words that should be in a song title?
Oh, I don't think there is a maximum. Uh,
Just how much you can, how many words you can fit in
I
on the
mean,
liner, basically.
I suppose you could go mental, couldn't you? You could have like every single line from James Joyce's Ulysses as track four. But yeah,
Right.
I guess that it would cause some problems printing. But no, I think you could have as many as you want. I mean, they all get abbreviated, even ones with two words get abbreviated to one.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't matter that much.
Is there any of these tracks that you're particularly looking to unleash live? You know, like I've talked to you before about albums, and sometimes there's a particular track that you really are looking forward to getting out there.
Yeah, I mean, we've been rehearsing, we're doing all of them. So, but I think maybe the louder ones like High Chaos and If You Find This World Bad, You Should See Some of the Others. Those are the loud ones that I think will be a lot of fun to play. But I think it's all sounding all right. It's all sounding good.
Um, 30 years in, you're a different band in terms of the stages you are in your life. Do you do you find that like the things that you're thinking about in terms of the emotions and stuff that you're investing in your music and I've talked to Aidan, who's a fellow of yours from Aristrap about that, and
Uh-huh.
he's kind of embraced his grumpy old man era, and
Yeah.
he's quite happy to kind of like let that kind of seep into his work. But you know, like is there different things that you're thinking about that is there different places that the music's coming from now that you're a bit older in life?
I don't think so. I mean, it would probably be different for Aidan because his music's always very specifically about his life, whereas
Yeah.
ours is more abstract. So to be honest, I don't. I actually think that it's very similar to how what it was when we used to practice in Martin's bedroom in Blantyre. To be totally, I mean, yeah, we've just never left Blantyre. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. All around the world and brings you back to the same places. What about this? The kind of the soundtracks elements. Do you feel like that's going to still be part of what Mogwai does, like being open to projects and things like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've actually done one since we finished the album, um, which I don't think I'm allowed to say what it is, but it's the kind of thing that everyone everyone will probably get a chance to see. So yeah, I think it's just great to be able to keep making music and kind of apply what we do to a kind of different medium. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we keep doing it, depends if we keep getting asked. But yeah, we've done another one, so at least one person asked us.
Yeah. So you said that this album and getting together and kind of there was a bit of a release through the music and it was quite a cathartic experience after a lot of challenges and stuff like that. That's something, you know, like music helps people. Music people would have been walking around at different stages in their life listening to Mogwai as a soundtrack, as a backdrop to
Yeah,
things through challenging times. Is that
yeah,
something that you think is a very, positive aspect of creating music that they can have that effect on people?
absolutely. Like that's I don't know if you've seen the documentary that Antony Crook made, but in his Mogwai film, the last part of it is people specifically talking about that, about our music kind of helping them kind of get through hard, hard parts of their life. In one case, extremely hard. And I find that quite emotional, to be honest, and it's maybe something that I hadn't thought about too much, but I've kind of maybe because we've had a hard time, that's kind of resonated quite a lot during the period of making this record, definitely.
Someone once asked Alistair Gray, uh, you could live everywhere. You could be creative anywhere. Why do you live in Glasgow? Why does the band stay rooted to our place?
It's mainly the weather. Uh, I don't know. I think we just feel at home here. We're kind of
Yeah,
like
that was his kind of
quite
answer as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're kind of part of the kind of music community. Like feel kind of uh quite supported, but also
yeah,
it's just kind of it's quite an inspiring place. There's an awful lot of talented people around here. And if you're kind of around other talented people, you're kind of in that mindset. Most of my friends are either involved in the arts in some way, or they're creative people who make things, and yeah, who's to say that wouldn't be the case if we lived somewhere else? But if we all lived somewhere else, it would certainly make band practice a bit of a pain in the arse.
yeah. Um, there was yesterday. There's a kind of list that comes out every year by Time Out of best cities in the world. Glasgow was one of them, and it specifically mentioned the music scene and
Uh-huh.
the fact that that makes us a more, like a better place to live. And but like we want like young bands to want to come here, and we want creative people to feel here. And I suppose part of
Mm.
that is like being a city that allows people to go on and get their first stage. Like you can't
Yeah,
just jump from King Tut's to the Hydro. You have to move your way
yeah,
up. In your experience, is that like a really important part of what Glasgow is as a city? That if you have an idea, you can find a stage and you can get things going.
yeah, yeah. And I actually think that's it's one of the things I thought was so sad about the 13th Note closing, because
Yeah,
that's such an important place. I'd heard rumors it might reopen, which I hope it does, but that was such an important place for us to play numerous times to get better at what we were doing.
yeah,
And I think that, to be honest, Glasgow still has other places too. Like there is definitely a kind of a really good ecosystem of that's very successful in all kinds of music, not just the kind of stuff we do, but like places for people to get opportunities to work on their music and get better and better, and in some cases kind of break through, which is really great.